Hey y'all, IrixGuy here, back in the studio finally. Got my lighting going on, and I want to get together for another live show. This is Epic Drone Show Live. If you're watching this at approximately 9:55 p.m. New York City time, this is a live show, so anything that you type, I have the opportunity to see and interact with you in real time. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this thing rocking and rolling. Captain Perfect says hello. Welcome aboard, and I love that name. You must be a fellow cat person. So you may watch Sean Coonery videos on my channel. If you haven't, check them out. SoCal Seth said, I finally got one. Good deal, man. Welcome aboard. And you're saying you finally caught a live show, or you finally got a drone? Because I thought you may have had a drone for a while. I think the white balance in here is a little bit off. What do y'all think? Is the audio quality decent? So yeah, just kind of gearing up for for the holidays here. We've got, obviously, Christmas is rolling around, and unfortunately we have not seen a Phantom 5. We have not seen a Mavic Pro 2. But what we have seen are some deals. So you can go to my website, IrixGuy.com/store, and you can find all the drones that are currently available. Quite a few good ones out there. I mean, I'm super excited about Phantom 5 and Mavic Pro 2, but as we know now, that's going to have to wait until at least early part of next year. B. Hendo says, hey, so glad I made it back to a live show. It's been a while. Welcome back, B. Hendo. I know you've attended a lot of them, and that's that's super important here for the continued growth of Epic Drone Show. I also want to mention, if you go to epicdroneshow.com and you go to shop, or store rather, and go to merch, you can find Epic Drone Show t-shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs, and a whole lot more. I'm going to add a lot of brand new Epic Drone Show merchandise. So, a great gift for yourself, a great gift for someone else. Just another holiday gift idea. SoCal Seth says, finally caught a show. You did, man. You watch a lot of the videos, and that's appreciated. It's good to have you. Aboard live. Mr. Arvizu says hello. Welcome aboard, Mr. Arvizu. So, Biendo says, when might you think a new drone could be announced at this time? February. What do you think of the Alpine White Mavic color scheme? Personally, to me, the drone color doesn't matter. It's the performance it does, and that's the I just look at this as a way for them to visually refresh their product, to create the perception of something new. Whereas all of us educated drone buyers, we know that it's just a paint job. And I mean, I'm not saying that they're bad drones; they're great, but we want something new. But I think what they're doing is, again, they're applying these paint jobs to create the perception that that something's actually new, and it's just a paint job. So keep that in mind. If you're shopping for a drone, I would just go with the best deal. I wouldn't look at the color, and I would just look for the best deal. So again, just go to my website, epicdroneshow.com. You can go to the store. You can click drones. You can find all the latest drone deals there. Bruno says, hello, Irix. How are you, bro? I am excellent. It is a Friday night, and want to get this live show going, so this is good. Biendo says, do you think they're trying to clear stock? I definitely do. I'm talking about stock as in product, not stock as in an investment vehicle. Yeah, it would seem to make sense. I mean, if you've got all the internals, let's just say a computer, if you've got the motherboard, CPU, hard drive, all of that, you give it a flashy new outer appearance, a new case, bling it out, make it look fancy, you can continue to sell the same guts, but it looks new because of the case. And I think that's exactly what DJI is doing. I think that they're clearing out their inventory, because they're like, well, we can put this in a different color case, sell all those components. Why create something new when what you've got is awesome and it's selling like hotcakes? So I'm bullishly optimistic rather that DJI is taking advantage of their Hasselblad acquisition, Hasselblad being one of the most ultra premium camera brands. DJI acquired them. It would only seem to make sense that if a drone company bought one of the top camera companies in the world, that they would want to utilize their technology. So to me, that suggests that when we see the Mavic Pro 2, when we see the Phantom 5, it would be super cool if those new drones incorporated elements from Hasselblad camera technology. So it's, I don't know. I mean, that's what I'm hoping. I love Sony. My cameras that I use out in the field are Sony Alphas. They're rock solid. But man, Hasselblad, however you pronounce it, I mean, it's just your ultra high end camera brand. And DJI acquired them. Now, SoCal Seth says, yeah, I've been busy. Entrepreneurship is consuming. Entrepreneurship is super consuming because if you are an entrepreneur or you know an entrepreneur, you know that it's always a question of what's next. Because the entrepreneurship, you control your own destiny. So if you don't keep trying, you don't keep advancing. And if you think you've hit it big, then you stop. You're probably not a true entrepreneur, because if you think that you hit it big, but then you're like, wait, I can do more, and then you do more, and you do more, and you do more, ultimately, a serial entrepreneur, there's probably no end game. They could make hundreds of billions of dollars, and they would keep going. But there are entrepreneurs that, have an exit point. And they say, well, once I hit X amount, then I will call myself successful, and I will retire from being an entrepreneur. So there's so many different entrepreneurs out there, types of entrepreneurs, rather. Joe Haley says, is that St. Martin on your green screen? Actually, that is St. Martin, and I filmed this green screen backdrop on Pinnell Island, that little bitty island off of the French tip of on the St. Martin French side. So Tom says, you going fishing in that pond? No, but I did go out there and got some lobsters in lobster traps out there. Got some of those and ate them. They were really good. But yeah, I mean, it's a great year for drones. I mean, we've got some solid drones out there, but again, we want something new, and we haven't gotten that. B Endo says, did you get the iPhone 10? I love it. I did not get the iPhone 10, and the only reason I didn't, I had an iPhone 6S Plus, and that was the one with the headphone jack, and I got water in the headphone jack, and it got the phone stuck in a mode to where the only way I could carry on a conversation is either Bluetooth in my car or Bluetooth from a headset. I tried reinserting a headphone into it, and it would never get out of that mode. Tried resetting the phone software. So I completely ruined the iPhone 6S Plus because I got water in the headphone jack when I was, wiping the screen off. I like to put water on it, and I know it's not recommended, but I got water in the headphone jack, broke the phone. So then, because it was such a catastrophic failure, I had to upgrade prematurely. So I got the iPhone 7 Plus that I have here, and as a product of having iPhone 7 Plus, I can't justify going to iPhone 8 or to the iPhone 10. I'm going to wait until the next iteration of iPhone when I've up my upgrade cycle, whatever it is, 2 years or whatever. So with that being the case, yeah, I didn't had the 6S Plus not broken and forced me into a premature upgrade, I would have probably, I don't know if I would have gotten the 8 or the 10. I know a lot of people love the 10, not just the Animoji feature, but they love the fact that it's OLED and that you get that big filling screen. But even though the screen feels pretty much as big as a Plus Model 7 or a Plus Model 8, because of the OLED nature of it and the fact there's no home button, you've got a more compact phone, yet it feels as big. So that's one of the coolest things that I've had my hands on a bunch of them, and they were they're cool. But yeah, that's cool. I mean, if you got the 10, it seems to be a very cool phone. But I still wish they would do away with that silly lightning connector. They've got USB-C in their laptops now. Why don't they give us an iPhone with USB-C? I hate that lightning connector. It's finicky. Let's see. SoCal says, love me some lobster. I do too. Whether it's Caribbean lobster or Maine lobster. You go up there in the Northeast, you get that cold water lobster. Completely different experience. But get you some drawn butter and just eat it up. B. Hendo says, understandable. He says he went from the 6S to the X. That's a great upgrade path right there. That is a great upgrade path. Tom Lee says, rest in peace, angry grandpa. So yeah, we got. That's what's funny. Since there's not a new drone, this drone show, we're kind of talking about other technology, which this is closely related to drones. But if you follow Apple news, Apple just released the iMac Pro, which I'm not getting the iMac Pro because it's overpriced. I mean, it's a Xeon-based system, which is cool. You can get a ton of cores in it. I think it can go up to 16 core, which is phenomenal. But the price is just too much for what it offers. But what the iMac Pro's launch created was the upgrade of not only Final Cut Pro 10, but also motion and also compressor. And the most significant piece of the new Final Cut Pro 10, and this was ushered in by the super powerful iMac Pro because Apple wants to create justification for people spending that much for a computer. The reality is that my 13-inch MacBook Pro that I have here, or my 27-inch iMac with Retina 5K display that I have over there in the studio, either of those I can use the same software now that I've updated Final Cut Pro 10, and I can edit 360-degree spherical video. So why is that important from a drone perspective? Well, as we've mentioned, Mr. Orvizu says, are you ever going to do a barbecue video? Actually, you know what? That'd be a good live show. I did do a Labor Day live show in front of the grill, and I'll try to do a barbecue live show, so stay tuned. Tom Lee says, are you a fan of the Angry Grandpa show? I've never watched it. Really, I don't watch a lot of TV because when I'm not doing YouTube or I'm not in the gym or doing something, if I do watch anything on TV, there's a few shows that I watch, and I watch a very minuscule amount of TV. I mean, I'm talking maybe tops 2 hours a week on a heavy watching week. But I like to watch Gold Rush on Discovery Channel. I enjoyed that. Finding Escobar's Millions. It was a show they just ran this season. It was really good. It was also on Discovery Channel. Let's see, what else do I watch? I don't know. I don't watch a lot of stuff. Really don't. Oh, it's a YouTube show. I don't know, man. I've checked that out. Thanks for the heads up, man. I'll check that out. But yeah, the 360-degree spherical editing capabilities of Final Cut Pro 10 is huge. And it's huge because think about a drone with a 360 camera. And the 360 cameras that you may have had in the past as well, and I've still got one. I've got the little, it's about $180, and you can find it on my website. But it was just a little LG 360 camera. Not super high video quality, but it was one of those deals where you got the camera, and the camera came before the editing software. I mean, sure, it had in-phone camera. You could download it, but you're stuck with the audio that the camera recorded. You can't go in and add your own background music, your own 3D text effects, etc. until now. Because now, Final Cut Pro 10, there's two top-of-the-line video editing suites. There's Final Cut Pro 10 and there's Adobe Premiere. I'm in the Final Cut Pro 10 camp. So since I'm a Final Cut Pro 10 video editor, dude, I'm super stoked because actually what I'm doing now while we're doing this live show is I'm exporting an abundance of 360-degree videos that I filmed, but I never edited. And I never edited those 360-degree videos because I didn't have editing software. So it was just right off the camera. It was lame. It had wind noise and everything. But what I'm going to do is edit my first 360 video in the new Final Cut Pro 10. Now you can only imagine if that editing experience is user-friendly. Think about that. If you're editing 360 videos that were filmed handheld or mounted to the front of a vehicle, which I've done both of those, imagine a 360-degree camera on a drone. And if it's easy to edit, in theory, it could create a very immersive video viewing experience. So I think the fact the Final Cut Pro 10 has released 360-degree editing capabilities signals that we may be seeing a drone with a 360 camera very soon. I don't think that's a technology that's a failed technology. You know, we've seen those 360 camera videos for a while. You know, you go on Facebook or wherever, you pull out your phone, you move it around, and you can see in all directions. That's what it is, 360 degree. But it never really caught on because there was no true editing software for it. But now that there is the editing software, I'm looking at my key lamp up there. I think one of my shutters popped out. That's weird. But the lighting still looks okay, I hope. Yeah, so this signals something exciting in my opinion. And that may be the reason why DJI, one of the other reasons why DJI stalled about releasing a new drone for Christmas. You know, maybe that's the technology maybe they're going to see how people perceive Apple's 360-degree editing capabilities, and then they may release a 360 camera on the drone, which I hope they do. Something else I've done, this isn't really drone related, but it's still cool, is that I've installed my entire green screen with their smart plugs. And I'm going to do a video on this. Stay tuned. This is more of a IrixGuy's live show type content, but since there's not a lot of drone stuff going on right now, I thought I'd share it anyway. Smart plugs, and then I've linked it with Amazon Echo so that I can say the wake word, which I'm not going to say right now because she'll wake up. But I say the wake word for Amazon Echo, and I can say turn green screen on. And when I do that, my two key lights, I've got a light my two side lights that illuminate the backdrop, one over there and one over there, and then my key light in front of me, all three of those will turn on at the same time. And then when I finish this live broadcast, I say turn green screen off, and she turns the green screen off. It's a really cool technology. It's not gimmicky. It works. So stay tuned for a lot of videos on that. Let's see. SoCal says it's not a drone, but have you had any experience with the DJI Osmo Mobile? It's funny you ask that, and everyone, you can find a link to the Osmo Mobile on my website. It's a gimbal stabilizer for your smartphone, and it does a really good job. You may have seen the original Osmo that I reviewed, and you know, it had a camera included with it that wasn't waterproof or anything. But with the DJI Osmo Mobile, you get the advantage of being able to use your smartphone's camera, which smartphone cameras are pretty good now in 4K. It's not as good as it's a dedicated camera system, but they're good. But what the Osmo Mobile will do is give you that gimbal stabilization. So if you're doing a podcast while you're walking, or you're doing any activity where there's motion and you want to get smooth and steady footage, it's a great way to do it. Actually, right now, if you check my website, I don't know if the link's still active, but at least at one point they were having a sale. So you may want to check my website and see. Just go to irixguy.com/store and then go to cameras, and you can find it there. But it looks really cool, and I know a lot of people have enjoyed it. I haven't picked one up, and the only reason I haven't is that I travel with so much gear. And it's not that big or that bulky, but it's just another item to have to charge and travel with. And actually, with the 7 Plus iPhone that I use now, the integrated stabilization, sure, it's not gimbal stabilized, it's not as good as a gimbal, but the integrated stabilization of this is quite convincing. And you can check out, I just filmed it with this iPhone 7 Plus, the review of the 2018 Volkswagen Passat. This is on my channel, or you can go to my website and find it. And that was filmed. I was just hand holding this, and I thought that it looked quite decent. Rafael Costa says, "Boa noite." Nate Sarag says, 15 more days till 2018, the year of the Phantom 5. Amen. And the Mavic Pro 2. Rafael Costa says, good evening. Good evening to you. Welcome aboard. God, we got a ton of people tuning in here. This is great. This is fantastic. So, let's see. Yep, it's one of those deals. I think we're waiting. We're anxiously awaiting the next DJI product release, and I think because we are having to wait, I think it's going to be something exceptional. Because if we had to wait this long, and it's something semi-exciting, or even worse, if it's underwhelming, that could spell disaster for the DJI brand. So I don't think they want to set themselves up for that. So, I think the wait's going to be worthwhile. SoCal Cecily got his for $250. Taking it to Hawaii, that'd be a good place to use it, man. Hawaii's great. B. Endo says, I'm really hoping for the Mavic Pro 2 more than the Phantom 5. I'm with you on that. Because I think the Mavic Pro, it was good. And it was beyond good. But it wasn't as good from a camera quality and camera stability perspective as the Phantom 3 Pro, Phantom 4, Phantom 4 Pro. So if they bring us a Mavic Pro 2 with a camera as good or better than a Phantom 3 Pro, I think we're going to have a winner. And Stephen J. says, DJI is pulling the Apple plan and giving just a little. You're right. Because if you give too much, these, twice yearly or once yearly product refreshes, wouldn't be doable. Because people wouldn't want it. And yeah, it is funny. And that's the thing. So many people compare DJI's business to Apple. And I'm there with you. I think it's a very similar business model and marketing strategy. SoCal says, I'll have a passion orange for you. That sounds good, man. I love that. That's one thing I like about Hawaii is getting down there and getting those, the fresh fruit just on the side of the street. You get you some pineapple and some mangoes and papayas. And then in the grocery stores down there, and I don't know, I guess it's pretty much everywhere, but they have this drink, and it's called Hawaiian Sun. It's in like a can, just like a 12-ounce can, and they got all these different fruit flavors. They got like passion fruit, guava, I think pineapple. I'm sure this stuff's not that healthy for you, but man, it tastes good. And that's the only place I ever found this in Hawaii. The Hawaiian Sun, in those little 12-ounce cans. Some good stuff. And if you're going to Maui by chance, go out, take the ride past Kapalua, where the golf course is, and just stay on that road. And it's a really cool drive. But after you make a few turns on that, on the left, you'll see if it's still there. It's a yellow bus, and it's just like an old school bus. And they sell smoothies in there that are absolutely exceptional. So be sure to check that out. Stephen J. says, DJI Spark 4 would be the best drone. The funnest one I've flown, but no 4K is a downer. Yeah, DJI Spark 4K, I agree. And, even though the Spark had convincingly great quality in 1080p, it still wasn't 4K. And, I would up convert the Spark 1080p video to 4K in post-production, but up converted, it's still not 4K. It's faux 4K, fake 4K. So it's I'm with you, man. If they gave the Spark just a little bit better battery life, in 4K, I think it could be a very good drone to consider. And then also something with the Spark, you know, it's kind of cool that it doesn't fold because that's one less thing to break. But they need to have some sort of very compact, hard case, you know, that where it kind of wraps around the drone. So when it's not in use, if you're putting it in your pocket or whatever, it just sticks around it so that you can't bang up the propellers and this, that, and the other. That's a complaint I had with it. SoCal Cess says, was there in January, still there, but the trip is just a Wahoo. Wahoo's fun, man. Get out there on Wacky Key Beach, up there by Diamond Head, and do those, I like doing those, what do you call them? Not a catamaran, but outrigger canoes. They got the canoe, and then they got the thing on the side, and you can get up on the wave and ride the waves in. Behendo 15 says, I think the Spark in normal mode is a little hard to control. Yeah, it is. It definitely is. What do you think of the portable charging thing for the Spark? You know, I haven't even used it. I'll be frank, I haven't. Yeah. Yeah, DJI's got to give us something new. And you know, if someone had the money and they wanted to be a smart competitor, now would be the prime time to release a DJI killing product. You know, not that I dislike DJI, but I love competition. And, you know, someone like Google or Apple or Microsoft, if they wanted to enter the drone game, God, if they had done it right now, think about it. If you had the money and the technical expertise to release a quality product, Christmas of this year would have been the opportunity for anyone that wanted to attempt to dethrone DJI, but nobody stepped up to the plate. So it's frustrating, and it's also frustrating GoPro. Again, I love GoPro. I've said it over and over, but GoPro with the Karma, they should have just scrapped that thing, man. Even if it hadn't been recalled, they should have scrapped it. But they're still trying to limp along with it. If GoPro would come out, you know, they just released a GoPro Fusion camera, which, unfortunately, in my opinion, I feel it's overpriced. I haven't picked one up yet. But I think, I think if GoPro would take the technology that's inside of that GoPro Fusion and shrink it down into a, compact, so it could be compact enough to fit into a smaller drone. If GoPro could release a 360-degree spherical drone, even if the camera was not modular, if they could release a 360-degree spherical drone, they could really position themselves to compete right now in the drone arena. But I don't think they're going to do it. That would just be too forward thinking. And although GoPro is a very tech-savvy camera company, they're not one to want to just rush out and innovate. And that's, I mean, they innovated in the beginning, obviously. I mean, who would have thought about attaching a camera to a surfboard? I mean, that was brilliant. It was an excellent use case for their brand new product. And as you know, the masses began flocking to GoPro. You know, everybody at that point had a GoPro, and they were mounting it to everything they could. And now, I don't know. I want to. Oh, it's frustrating. I want a 360-degree camera on a drone. Stephen J says, SoCal Seth says, staying over on the west side in Cololina. Very nice. Stephen J says, the Spark takes forever to charge on portable. Just plugged into the battery through USB. Burkell Dirtwork says, eager to get Mavic for my construction videos. Trying to wait for the Mavic 2. What's your prediction based on the other DJI drone new models? How much of a price increase will the Mavic 2 be? Well, and this is just speculation, but if DJI encounters no true competition, they could, in theory, charge whatever they wanted to. And, now that they've released we could call a super small and entry-level model, the Spark, it would seem to make sense that what they could do is that they could make the Phantom series the very pro end, which could create a price jump in the Phantom, and we've already seen that with the Phantom 4 Pro. So the Mavic Pro 2, in theory, could jump in price, and then they could release a pro model of the Spark, something with a 4K camera or better, and even bump the price of it up. So it's scary when you look at it from that perspective. DJI could really do whatever they want to do. What I am proud of now, at least they've better distinguished among the drone models, and they're not trying to tout the Inspire as part of the Phantom, Mavic Pro, or Spark family. They put it in a different category now, which I thought was commendable, because I hate the Inspire. It's too big, it's too heavy, not to mention the price. But yeah, I don't know, 2018, it's disheartening for me, because you want something for Christmas. You know what I wanted? I wanted a new drone. I wanted something brand new. I want to take it out in the field. I want to do an unboxing video. I want to do a ton of troubleshooting videos. And DJI didn't do that for me. They did not put anything out this year, and it made me so mad. I'm sure y'all are mad, and I just hope they don't wait so long that people start to lose interest in drones. I mean, I don't think, it's like anything else, the newness starts to wear off. But even after the newness where it starts to wear off with the drone, it's still so much fun. It would be, I don't know how I could ever become bored with flying the drone. Now, SoCal says, by chance, do you know of an app or setting that lets you flip from forward to selfie while you're filming? I do not. I wish I did. That's a cool question. Well, let's see. Stay tuned. I'm going to dig into this. My videos have been exporting as we've hosted here, but I'm going to dig into this 360-degree spherical video editing. So hopefully, maybe even as early as tomorrow, but that may be a little bit premature. But as soon as I have a semi-solid understanding of editing spherical content in Final Cut Pro 10, I'm going to post a tutorial video, and then I'm going to host a live show, IrixGuy's live show, and we're going to look at that, because I think with this tool, Final Cut Pro 10, unless Apple totally botched the user interface and the capabilities of the application, I think it's going to be a game changer. So I'm excited about that. Not just from a video editing perspective, but from a future of drones perspective, drone cameras. So that's going to be interesting to check out. SoCal says, yeah, it'd make vlogging a lot easier. Oh, and that's another thing, talking about 360 cameras. If you're not using them to film spherical content, and again, this is something I've got to test in Final Cut Pro 10, but in theory, if you're filming with a spherical camera, if you then wanted to post a video, it's just your standard 16:9, but focused upon a certain pointing in a certain direction, you could do that. And another way to look at a spherical camera, if you're not filming to be viewed in VR, spherical, 360 degree, whatever you want to call it, you could, let's say I had a camera sitting right here, a spherical camera, and while I'm doing a YouTube video or whatever, I'm not moving the camera, it's staying there. But if, say in the beginning, I wanted to do face on video to say, hey, welcome to this video, I could point to that part. But then if I'm doing an unboxing or something over there, I could point to that part. But from an editing perspective, all of that was filmed with one camera in one location. But within post-production, I used that one camera, and I selected multiple angles from that camera to, in essence, behave as multiple physical cameras, but in reality it's one camera. But in post-production, I'm able to just pull certain vantage points out of that VR camera, spherical 360-degree camera, so that it's like having multiple cameras in one. So that's kind of a cool way to look at it. Again, a technology that a lot of people don't yet fully understand, including myself. I don't. I just heard somebody say something. Alexa. I hope that was Alexa. I mean, I'm not making this up. I just heard somebody talking. I mean, that was creepy. Hold on just a second. It's always good to be prepared. And, you know, I'm not making this up, but that was that's still razor sharp. That's a this is a Wakasazi. I may have mispronounced that, but it's kind of collectible, but also a good peace of mind if you're ever in. Now that really was creepy. I'm not making this up. I did hear somebody say something, and I'm hoping it was just Alexa. But never hurts to be safe. So with that being said, I think the studio, that was a good test too, getting up. I'll cut my finger. Nice. I think that's kind of a good test of this green screen set that I'm on now, because I'm looking at this, and historically in the past, with the old setup, if I had gotten offset like I just did to get my samurai sword, it would have messed up. But even though I moved offset to get my samurai sword, and I came back, I don't know. Y'all tell me. Is the lighting still good? Are there shadows? Does the green screen look like it's crapping out? Yeah, SoCal says that's why he carries a 45. Very good. Yeah, 45. Great caliber right there, man. But yeah, this thing I've had this for a long time. I like it. Wakasazi. Wakasazi. Very cool. And you know, if you're a ninja, these right here, you got your primary sword, and this isn't even a longer sword, but then you've got a secondary, a tanto or tanto, however you pronounce this. Like it looks like a little short. I don't have one of those with me, but those are. And I don't know all the ins and outs, but if you're a ninja and something happens, you just like stab yourself or whatever. The ninjas do. It's what is it? I don't know. Y'all have to enlighten me, but research ninjas and samurais, and you can learn about all that. But so anyway, yeah, we need new drones. It's I mean, it's almost 2018. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's almost 2018, and we do not have a new drone yet. But I guess there could be worse things. I mean, if you look at it from this perspective, I mean, there could be an international ban of drones where you could no longer own drones as hobbyists. That would be devastating. So, you know, maybe this temporary period of boredom is good for drones. Maybe, you know, some of the less than responsible people will decide to not participate and go out and purchase drones and misuse them. So, you know, hopefully, I don't know, I'm just speculating here. But it's, yeah, I don't know. B. Hendo says, Good Boy says, give it up. We're not getting a new drone for DJI. Yeah, we're not getting one this year, that's for sure. BHendo15 says, what do you think of the new Reels, aka Stories feature YouTube is looking to roll out? Well, I don't want to speculate. I know YouTube has rolled out several new features recently, and you can check out on my channel, the community tab. I posted a few polls and some images and all kinds of stuff. So they're adding some new features to YouTube. I don't really have an opinion regarding Reels at the moment because until I try it, I don't really know what to think about it. And I love innovation, but it goes back to the thing they say: if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And YouTube is great, and I mean this right here, where I've seen huge improvement with YouTube, is the the live streaming component. I mean, right now in my studio, and sure, I've got more sufficient lighting than a lot of YouTubers may have, but it's still a simplistic setup. You can check out my green screen setup on my website. Just go to IrixGuy.com and search for green screen, and you can see how I've set this up. But to be able to do this with YouTube and some somewhat pricey software, I mean, it's not cost prohibitive, but I'm using Wirecast for the for the streaming software. It's running over there on my iMac with Retina 5K display in the corner of the studio. So Adam's got a great question here. He says, "What any thought about net neutrality?" Well, I don't want to speculate, and again on this channel, I steer clear of political things, but I would look at net neutrality. I'm not going to look at it from a political perspective, but just from a pure technological perspective. And any time that any sort of entity can intervene and control the transfer of information, in this case, whether it's internet video, whether it's website content, email, etc., it's kind of scary. And that's one thing that a lot of us have grown accustomed to, is the ability to have freedom of speech on YouTube. And obviously one needs to adhere to the YouTube policies and procedures, but if you stay away from questionable stuff and don't misbehave, it's a great tool. So with net neutrality, I don't know. I wouldn't want to see. I don't want to speculate, but I just don't want it to break anything. That's my main concern. I don't want anything to come into play that would impact YouTubers' abilities to do YouTube and have a large viewership. Vic Nada says, do you think DSLR, is there a way to go, or video camera for video? Well, I've done both. Camcorders, video camera, traditional video camera, it's pretty easy. You put it in auto mode, you can get convincingly good video, face-on video segments, product unboxing, etc. But the video itself just lacks that what's referred to as depth. If you just want to have, be able to simply shoot something, not have to worry about focusing, not have to worry about setting your aperture and your shutter speed and play with all that stuff, you're probably going to like the video camera because it's a lot more user-friendly experience. With that said, and I had a rather high-end video camera, I had the AX100. You can check out my website and you can find it there. Now they've got a newer AX700 that has better high dynamic range, but I haven't played with the AX700 yet. But if you go DSLR or mirrorless camera and you become proficient with filming video with that equipment, it's hard to ever look back just because it's so much better. You look at the videos, it's like, God, that looks like it was professionally done. And all that is the product of learning how to how to use your aperture, how to find the best lighting, how to frame yourself in the shot. So I don't know. I would say, look at your experience level. If you need it now and you need consistently good results, go with a go with a video camera. But if you already have an understanding of photography, a lot of that can carry over to learning how to create very convincing, pro-looking video with a DSLR mirrorless camera. So what you may want to do is get a video camera, but take some photography lessons, learn about aperture and ISO and shutter speed, and learn how to get those photos with the defocus background, the bokeh, the depth of field, whatever you want to call it. Learn about all that, and then once you master that, a lot of that you can carry on to video with a DSLR mirrorless camera. That's what I did. And once I did that, I've never looked back. It would be impossible for me to go back to a camcorder. Oh, you know, there are certain scenarios where you get that extra battery life. With a DSLR mirrorless, most of them, you're probably going to be limited to 29 minutes of continuous video recording. And that's because it's considered a camera instead of a video camera. So there are some certain, certain things like that to be aware of. But check out my website, man. Go to IrixGuy.com /store, and you can find a ton of cameras there. I shoot the Sony Alpha. That's my mirrorless camera of choice. B. Hendo says, do you think water resistance or waterproof could be in one of the next drones? Or too soon, realistically? Well, there's actually a third-party drone. I'm trying to think of the name of it. I think it's called Splash Drone or something. And it has problems. I know somebody has one, and it's gimmicky. But yeah, I don't know. I think I don't know if we're going to see a waterproof drone, to be frank. So from DJI, SoCal says has got to run, but I'll catch you soon, bud. Have a Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you too, man. Thanks for tuning in. So yeah, waterproof drone. You know, it's a possibility. I think it would be cool. And I think it could open up, you know, especially if it could function as a radio-controlled boat, as well as a drone, and maybe even a submarine. Can you imagine if it was submersible? You could fly with it, and then you go underwater, and you know that would be great for out over the ocean in the Caribbean. But yeah, so much stuff, so much on the wish list. I mean, I don't know. But I mean, the fact of the matter is now, if you want to buy a good drone and a very solid performing drone, there's tons of them out there today. You know, just go to my website, IrixGuy.com /store, and I've got links to all of them. I mean, the drones that are out today are great, and I'm not saying they're not. I'm just saying I'm disappointing as a drone addict that I can't get a new drone. There's nothing new for Christmas 2017. So with that being said, stay tuned in the next few days for IrixGuy's live show. I'm going to do a special Christmas shopping edition, and I'm also going to share a lot about the VR 360-degree spherical video editing capabilities of the new Final Cut Pro 10 version that just came out. So thanks to everyone for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed, be sure to do so. YouTube.com /IrixGuy. Check out EpicDroneShow.com, and you'll be able to find this live show that was previously recorded, as well as all my other previously recorded live shows. So it's a great way to share with others. You know, if you didn't get to watch the show in its entirety, you can tune back in and watch it non-live. A couple more questions here. Vic Nada says, I have already a Sony FDR-AX100 but need something professional, maybe a mirrorless camera. That's what I went from, man, AX100 to mirrorless. Again, check out my website, IrixGuy.com /store. Go to my cameras. You can find the camera body and the prime lenses that I use. And again, I'm not a zoom lens fan. I like my primes. B. Hendo says, any idea what day? Maybe tomorrow, man. Tomorrow or Sunday. That's my objective. So I appreciate everyone tuning in. We're getting close to the hour-long mark here. So got to get some other stuff brewing here. And appreciate y'all's viewership, and y'all have a good day. See if I can get this little outro rolling up here. Let's see. Find it here in a second. Hey y'all, IrixGuy here. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe, like, and share. It's viewers like you that enable my channels to continue to grow.